Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I would like to ask you for a small favor. I'm currently working towards reaching 1000 subscribers so that I can monetize my channel and continue creating quality math content for you. So if you find my videos helpful and informative, I would really appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss an update. So let's go to see what we have for this video. So the question is asking us to find the critical points of this function, which is x over 1 minus x times absolute value of x. So whenever I see absolute value of a function or of a variable or whatever, the very first thing that we should do is to get rid of the absolute symbol. So to be able to do that, I'm going to divide the problem into two parts: x's equal to 0 or greater than 0 and x's less than 0. So if our x's are equal to 0 or greater than 0, the fx would be equal to x over 1 minus x times absolute value of a positive variable would be positive. So the fx would be x over 1 minus x times x is x to the power of 2. Second part, x is less than 0 would be x over 1 minus x times absolute value of a negative variable would be negative. You can just simply make an make an example for yourself and be like, okay, for example, if the x is equal to negative 1, what would come out the absolute value? Absolute value of negative 1 would be positive 1. So your x was negative 1, and what comes out of the absolute value would be positive 1. So negative x would come out of here, right? Let's go ahead. So it would be x times negative x, which equals x over 1 minus x times minus x would be positive x to the power of 2. So let's copy and paste the solution in a new line. Okay, so first off, what are critical points? You have to take a look at the definition of the critical points, and if you do, you can see that it's either of these two cases. Either your f prime x should be equal to 0 and those x's would be your critical points, or if the f prime x is undefined, then those x's would be your critical points. But what is undefined? Undefined means simply if the derivative of the right hand side to your value is not equal to the derivative of the left hand side of your value. For instance, if we have a function which its derivative is equal to this function at x equal to 0 has a critical point. Why? Because f prime at 0, like positive zeros, or any point, it's just 0 in this example, 0 plus f prime of 0 plus, which is 1, is not equal to f prime of 0 negative, which is negative 1. So x equal to 0 in this specific example is a critical point, just because of making an example for you to make sure that you are good with the critical points. So the very first thing that we should do is to find f prime x, because we need it for both the cases. F prime x for x's equal to or greater than 0 would be, we have a formula for derivative, which is u over v prime is equal to u prime times v minus v prime times u over v to the power of 2. It's a formula or a rule. U and v are functions. So in here, the u is x and the v is 1 minus x to the power of 2. So let's apply the formula here. U prime or x prime times v. I don't have enough space in here, but let's write it down here. U prime or x prime times v, or here, minus v prime or 1 minus x to the power of 2 prime times u or v over v to the power of 2, or 1 minus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. For x is less than 0, your f prime x would be equal to, again, using the same formula for this part, u prime v, x prime times 1 plus x to the power of 2, this is the v, this is the u, minus v prime or 1 plus x to the power of 2 prime times u or x over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. So f prime x would be equal to, at x is equal to 0 or greater than 0, the f prime x is, x prime is 1. So we have 1 times 1 minus x to the power of 2 would be 1 minus x to the power of 2 minus 1 minus x to the power of 2 prime. The derivative of a constant is 0, so it would be 0 minus derivative of x to the power of 2. Derivative of x to the power of 2 is 2x, as you know. So the answer would be minus bracket negative 2x times x over 1 minus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. For x is less than 0, the f prime x would be equal to, x prime is 1, 1 plus x to the power of 2 prime would be derivative of constant is 0, derivative of x to the power of 2 is 2x. So let's go ahead. 1 times 1 plus x to the power of 2 minus 0 plus 2x times x over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. Then again, f prime x equals, for x is greater or equal to 0 and less than 0. The upper part would be equal to 1 minus x to the power of 2, two negative values multiplying each other, the answer would be positive, so plus 2x to the power of 2 over 1 minus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. The lower part would be equal to 1 plus x to the power of 2 minus 2x times x is 2x to the power of 2 over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. So the upper part would be equal to 1 minus x to the power of 2 plus 2x to the power of 2. These two parts cancel out, so it would be 1 plus x to the power of 2 over 1 minus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. The lower part would be x to the power of 2 minus 2x to the power of 2. These two will cancel out each other as well, so we have 1 minus x to the power of 2 over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. So let's go back and take a look at the definition of critical points. So let's check the first part. F prime x equals 0. So 1 plus x to the power of 2 over 1 minus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2 equals 0. It means that this is the upper part, or for x's equal to 0 or greater than 0. It means that 1 plus x to the power of 2 has to be equal to 0. We don't have any answers for this part. Why? Because 1 is positive and greater than 0, and x to the power of 2 is always positive as well. So no x's, no answer for this part. Let's go for the lower part. 1 minus x to the power of 2 over 1 plus x to the power of 2 to the power of 2 for x is less than 0 equals to 0. So to be able to find the answer, 1 minus x to the power of 2 should be equal to 0. It means that your x to the power of 2 is equal to 1, or your x is positive or negative 1. Your x's are negative initially, so the answer would be only negative 1. You are pretty sure that one of your critical points is this. You found it out. Then let's go ahead and check the second part. F prime x is undefined. Those x's, we need those x's where derivative of fx is undefined. So derivative of fx is this and that at x is greater than 0 and x is less than 0. So the only point that we might have a critical point based on the second definition would be at x is equal to 0. This is the only point where these two parts might not be the same. So let's check and see if at x is equal to 0 we have a critical point or not. So I'm gonna copy the f prime x's to a new line like this. So it was for x is greater than 0, x is less than 0. This is f prime x. So let's put x equal to 0 to both parts and see what would be the answer. F prime of 0 plus or positive zeros, or zeros very close to, or sorry, no, values very close to 0 would be equal to 1 plus 0 to the power of 2 over 1 minus 0 to the power of 2 to the power of 2, which would be 1. And for f primes equal to or at 0 minus or 0 negative, or values very close to 0 but not 0 itself, would be 1 minus 0 to the power of 2 over 1 plus 0 to the power of 2 to the power of 2. This part is 1, that part is 1 as well, so the answer would be 1. So these two answers are the same. So it means that the function is defined at x equal to 0. So the only critical point for this question would be at x equal to negative 1. Thank you very much for listening to or for watching this video, and I really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and like the video. Thank you.